Olá pessoal! Do you have future plans? And do you wonder what may happen if, when, as soon as they come true? Then welcome back to Plain Portuguese, where we learn how to talk about which conditions should be met so that future actions, future plans come true. In other words, you'll learn the future subjunctive, o futuro do subjuntivo. Are you new to our channel? Then subscribe and catch up on the lessons you have missed. If you subscribe, you'll learn a lot. I know you will. Today's lesson may seem a little bit challenging for some of you, but I do believe you've got what it takes to get a grasp of it. Even if that means watching this lesson twice, 3 times, 4 times, 100 times. Today you learn the future subjunctive, o futuro do subjuntivo, a structure that is widely used in Portuguese. First, you learn when to use it, then how to conjugate regular and irregular verbs in the future subjunctive. After that, some common expressions used with the future subjunctive with examples. And finally, our quiz. I highly recommend you take it. Yes? Ready to start? Vamos começar? Most courses and textbooks start teaching the present subjunctive, followed by the past subjunctive, and only then the future subjunctive. I decided to try something new here by tackling the future subjunctive first, which in my opinion is the easiest of them all. Well, when to use the future subjunctive? Quando usar o futuro subjuntivo? Take a look at the following sentence. If one day I visit Brazil, I'll eat pão de queijo every day. Is this if one day sentence referring to the past, present, or future? To the future. Do we know if or when it will happen? No, but if it happens, I'll eat pão de queijo every day. I'll eat pão de queijo every day if one day I visit Brazil. There's a condition for that to happen. Yes? Check this other example out. When I visit Brazil, I'll eat pão de queijo every day. This one is likely to happen. I'll eat pão de queijo every day when I visit Brazil. There is a condition also to be met, but do we know when I'll visit Brazil? No, we don't, but it's likely to happen. While I'm in Brazil, I'll eat pão de queijo every day. I'll eat pão de queijo every day while I'm in Brazil. I don't even know if I'll go to Brazil, but while I'm there, yes, there's a condition also to be met. These are some situations where we use the future subjunctive in Portuguese, whereas English uses the present tense, as you can see. By the way, the future subjunctive is often used when a phrase has 2 parts. If I will, when I will, while I will. Yeah? Conjugation. How do we conjugate regular and irregular verbs in the future subjunctive? Have you seen the lesson on personal infinitive? If you have, you are one step ahead, because regular verbs, I said regular verbs, in the future subjunctive are conjugated exactly as the personal infinitive. But I'll show you how to conjugate regular and irregular verbs in the future subjunctive so that you don't need to memorize those long lists anymore. What you need to do though is to look back to the past. To the past, yeah, but aren't we studying about the future? Yes, we are. But if you don't want to memorize a long list of verbs, what you need to do is look back to the past. And why is that? Well, because the future subjunctive of regular and irregular verbs is formed from the third person plural, eles, elas, of the simple past. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Now, then you need to make some adjustments, of course. Say we have the verbs estudar, comer, and assistir. Regular verbs. Okay, so third person plural in the simple past. Eles estudaram, eles comeram, eles assistiram. Good. Drop the final am ending and form the future subjunctive. If I, se eu estudar, se você, ele, ela estudar, se nós estudarmos, se vocês, eles, elas estudarem. Now let's take comer. So yesterday they ate. Ontem eles comeram. Drop the final am ending and make the future subjunctive. If I eat. Se eu comer, se você, ele, ela comer, se nós comermos, se vocês, eles, elas comerem. The same happens with assistir. So yesterday they watched. Eles assistiram. Drop the final am and make the future subjunctive. If I watch. Se eu assistir, se você, ele, ela assistir, se nós assistirmos, se vocês, eles, elas assistirem. Yeah? So regular verbs will have the same conjugation as they have in the personal infinitive. Now let's choose some irregular verbs. Estar, ter, ir. So yesterday, look back to the past. Yesterday they were, they had, they went somewhere. Eles estiveram, eles tiveram, eles foram. Drop the final am ending and form the future subjunctive. If I am. Se eu estiver. Se você, ele, ela estiver. Se nós estivermos. Se vocês, eles, elas estiverem. Now with have. So, yesterday they had, eles tiveram. Drop the final am. Se eu, if I had. If I have. Se eu tiver, se você, ele, ela tiver, se nós tivermos, se vocês, eles, elas tiverem. And our last verb here, before our practice and the expressions we'll still see, ir, to go. So yesterday they went, eles foram. Drop the final am ending. If I go. Se eu for. Se você for. Se ele, ela for. Se nós formos. Se vocês, eles, elas forem. Now it's your turn to conjugate a few irregular verbs in the future subjunctive. Don't forget to look back to the past and make a few adjustments. Are you able to conjugate the following irregular verbs in the future subjunctive? I bet you are. Yes. I'll remind you of the third person plural in the simple past. So, that, yesterday they gave. Ontem eles deram. Very good. So, if I give. Se eu der. Se você, ele, ela der. Se nós dermos. Se vocês, eles, elas derem. Great. Now, dizer. Yesterday they said. Ontem eles disseram. Drop the final am ending. If I say, se eu disser, not z. Se eu disser. Se você, ele, ela disser, se nós dissermos, se vocês, eles, elas disserem. Disserem. Very good. Now, fazer. Yesterday they did, they made. Ontem eles fizeram. Very good. So, if I do, if I make. Se eu fizer. Se você, ele, ela fizer. Se nós fizermos, se vocês, eles, elas fizerem. You're doing better than me. Now, ver. Yesterday they saw. Ontem eles viram. If I see. Se eu vir. Bia, vir. Yes. If I see. Se eu vir. Se você, ele, ela vir. Se nós virmos. Se vocês, eles, elas virem. And how about the verb to come, Bia? Let's check it out. Vir. So, yesterday they came. Yesterday they came. Yes. Ontem eles vieram. Drop the final A amending. If I come, se eu vier. Se eu vier. Se você, ele, ela vier. Se nós viermos. Se vocês, eles, elas vierem. These are not the only regular verbs in Portuguese. You know that, don't you? But now we also know how to conjugate the future subjunctive when you come across an irregular verb without having to memorize long lists. Remember to look back to the past. Which expressions are commonly used in the future subjunctive? Well, the first we have just seen, se, if. So I plan to go to the movies next weekend. There's a high possibility that I go to the movies next weekend. If that happens, I'll eat popcorn. Se eu for ao cinema, vou comer pipoca. Se eu for ao cinema, vou comer pipoca. But what will I do if the theater is closed? Se o cinema estiver fechado, vou ao shopping. I'll go to the mall. Se o cinema estiver fechado, vou ao shopping. Se eu for ao shopping, vou convidar a Ana para ir comigo. Se eu for ao shopping, vou convidar a Ana para ir comigo. Another expression. Quando, when. He's still a young boy, but he has some ambitious plans, yes? When he is 18, he'll learn how to drive. Quando ele tiver 18 anos, ele vai aprender a dirigir. Quando ele tiver 18 anos, ele vai aprender a dirigir. When he finishes college, he wants to travel abroad. Quando ele terminar a faculdade, ele quer viajar para fora. Quando ele terminar a faculdade, ele quer viajar para fora. His friend also wants to travel abroad, yes? And then when they come back, they want to find a job. Quando eles voltarem de viagem, eles querem encontrar um trabalho. Quando eles voltarem de viagem, eles querem encontrar um trabalho. Another expression, while, enquanto. Eles querem trabalhar e viajar muito enquanto eles forem solteiros. Eles querem trabalhar e viajar muito enquanto forem solteiros. They also want to meet every weekend while living in the same town. Eles querem se encontrar todos os finais de semana enquanto morarem na mesma cidade. Eles querem se encontrar todos os finais de semana enquanto morarem na mesma cidade. Another expression, as soon as, assim que. As soon as they marry, they won't meet each other so often. Yeah, that happens. Assim que eles se casarem, não irão se encontrar com tanta frequência. Assim que eles se casarem, não irão se encontrar com tanta frequência. Well, besides these expressions, you'll also find the future subjunctive be used with que, onde, can, and some other relative pronouns when we want to speak about a possibility in the future, as in follow your dreams, do whatever you want, yeah? So, faça o que você quiser. Vá para onde você quiser. Viaje com quem você quiser. Volte quando você quiser. Assista ao Play em Português quantas vezes você quiser. Gostou da aula de hoje? So then don't forget to give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment about how much you enjoyed or not the lesson. Thanks for being here, it's always a pleasure to have you and see you next time. Até a próxima. Tchau!